sending an inexperienced and uninformed buyer to the auction. This good old boy that used to know mom and dad, and dad is one of good dad's buddies, is what we're going to do. We trust him. So what we're going to do is we're going to send him to the auction and tell him to go buy some cars from us. And he's a great buyer, man, but he's a great buyer 15 years ago. He's a great buyer 10 years ago. And that poor soul is looking at rubber and checking paint and doing all that stuff, and he's got that black book in his hand. And you go and tell him to go buy you 15 cars. What is he going to come back with? He's going to buy those 15 and one more. Why? Because he gets paid per car. Does he care what he paid for it? Does he? Hey man, I was there. That's the cheapest I was able to get it. Come on. What? What if it was a hot day there? Like cars are going really expensive. I love it when people go to the auction and they say, I'm going to go buy 40 cars. Okay? What do I say, Daryl, when I go to the auction?
You're not going to bring it back unless it fits.
That's it. I used to go to auction and sit there for 5 hours and come back with one car. And everybody says, what were you really doing? You know, my boys, they're just ready. Throwing darts. Come on, Helmy, did you really go to the auction? And, you know, here I am standing beside wholesalers. They're eating eggs and smacking their teeth. And, oh, my God, it's sucking on fumes. And then my boys give me a hard time. Savages. Okay. Okay? Establishing an inventory that sells. Again, page number 164. Three keys to creating the perfect inventory mix. 3 keys. 1, affordable, reliable, and appealing. If you guys have a niche to sell Mercedeses, that's cool. Just follow the same rules. Get a graph, figure out how many of those do you sell a month, and make sure that it's tracking. What did Mr. Bill Flinko say? Who is the best inventory turner-upper? Wholesalers. Your average turn should be between 45 and 60 days. I think that's max. Max. Buy a vehicle between $8,000 and $12,000. I think these days you can probably go to 19, 13. That's your pure cost in there. I mean 9 to 13. It's a myth that you need to buy cars between $3,000 and $4,000. You need an inventory that creates a payment within your customer's budget. By the way, what's 115% of $4,000? How much profit did you make off of that 15%? I mean, some of you are going to go have dinner. We're not going to even be able to pay that bill with that markup, are we? The vast majority of your vehicles should have less than 50,000 miles. Some of us feel that, you know, the only way you're going to buy cars behind book is if you buy those high mileage ones. With those high mileage ones, what's going to end up happening, guys, is what? The bank is going to short-term you. And what does the service bill look on that one? And no matter how much they spend on it, is it going to ever be perfect? Never. Am I right? Your average monthly payment should be 20% of your average customer monthly gross income. That's why you need to send an experienced buyer. And when I say experienced, not experienced in buying cars, but experienced in what the program looks like. And if you have a buyer that you trust and love, remember, seriously now, it's the car business. So we can sit down and teach him a few things that he won't learn it the first day. But if we work with him for about a month or two, he'll nail it. It's all right. As long as you watch him every once in a while. Your average monthly payment should be between $450 and $500 a month. Why? Because according to MSN and Edmund, they said the average monthly payment is $458. It did? Okay, thanks. It's kind of funny. You say it enough times and everybody thinks it's the truth. Buy the book, not the look. We're going to page 165, guys, right? 6 tips to finding the best inventory, guys. Buy the book, not the look. You know, I remember some of the dealers, they say, man, I would never buy a purple Bonneville. Remember the purple Bonneville that they had one time, and it was just a horrible beast, right? Man, I was that guy that looked for them. You know why? Because I got just, you know, I had a great experience. I had an incredible experience. You know, it's like going out on a date with a girl. She got you for the rest of your life. You know, so that Bonneville was that girl that got me for the rest of my life. I go there and buy it, and the next thing you know what? I made $7,000, $8,000 on that deal. I'm hooked. I'm done. Because nobody wants to buy it, and somebody has to sell it. I'm buying it for $4 or $5 grand behind book. That is a pretty car. Isn't it? Your goal is to buy at least $2,000 behind book. What happens in the summer? Can we do that? That's why you got to abandon it. Start selling new cars. Well, I don't have new cars. Then buy factory cars, the ones that are 08s that are not in the book. Make sure you deduct for miles, transmission. Make sure you put in, all that reconditioned expenses. You don't buy it for $2,000 behind and then add all that stuff, then you don't have any window. If you don't have any window, you don't have room for packs. You don't have room for packs, your sales compensation is going to go up. Your sales compensation is going to go up, you can't make it up in volume. You'll sell more cars, lose more money. Yay! Don't buy wrecked or flooded. For the love of God, leave that alone. I mean, wrecked and flooded, I don't care how slick you are, you're going to get caught. And when you get caught, you're going to get your head kicked in. Leave it alone. There's plenty of cars out there. And if you're that good of a buyer, buy the real stuff for cheap. Sooner or later, no matter what you do, you're going to get caught. It just doesn't work. Leave it alone. Look to the rental companies and trade-ins for great inventory. Please, remember to stay focused on what? Your benchmarks, right? We have our benchmarks, we're focused. Don't feel that you're a failure by going to an auction for 5 hours and not coming back with any cars. Should you feel frustrated? Sure. Should you whine, complain, and go with the rest of your buddies and get in a huddle with the rest of the dealers? Say, man, the prices are high, nobody can buy anything. Well, business is bad, man. And then you see 200,000 cars went in front of you and got sold. Well, what are we doing? Just peddling the car? Business can't be bad, right? But they're complaining, so you just go in there and complain with them, Bond. Offer to buy the right inventory from the public. One of the nicest things you can do is establish your dealership or brand your dealership as a dealership that is willing to do what? Who did that very successfully? CarMax. CarMax spent an incredible amount of money to do that. You can link yourself to that idea if you're a smart marketer, and you can actually what? Use some of that millions of dollars worth of equity advertising for you to nail it.
They actually have stores that are just buying stores, they don't even sell them.
I mean, why not? They got the public. The public believes they're going to get the most money for their cars. And these days, man, they're giving the public 20, 30% less than what they can get from the dealers. Remember the old days, 1989, 1990? I don't know. Who sold cars then? Okay. I mean, I don't know if you were as bad as I was, but my used car manager appraises the car. I come up with a story for the customer has to go, and I give the customer instructions to go to CarMax. Get a buy bid from them. Come back with the buy bid, and now my deal is $2,000 better. I mean, again, I'm paying for my sins right now, but it's not now. CarMax right now, you can give them a buy-in for the cars, and they're truly 20, 30% less than any dealer would give you for it. But they are maximizing on what? What they have established themselves as a brand that they can pay more for anybody than anybody else. That's not the case anymore. Beware of seasonal buying challenges. Don't buy under your benchmarks. If the Samar gets too expensive, leave those cars alone. Just abandon it. Well, I'm going to need used cars. Okay. I hope you know how to find out some really big down payments. Because the last thing that you want to do is buy a car and the customer wants it and you don't have any windows in it. You can't make any money on it. Now you took the customer out of the market because he wants that one car, and if he doesn't buy it, he'll walk away, and now you're forced to sell a car for $300 profit. Versus if you didn't have it, you could have switched him to something else. That's the problem with eyeballs. Who understands what I just said? Who agrees? Look at the current year vehicles, not the book yet. Okay? Not in the book yet. We all know what that is. Those are just money makers. I mean, you're slaying dragons with that one. It's beautiful. Okay. We are going to page number 166. Okay. Tips for buyers. Buyers must understand both book and market values. Do you see where we're at with that, Chris? Does that make sense, Pete, right now? Okay. I recommend, if you're a buyer, to invest in a PDA. We're investing in a lot of stupid things in our life as dealers. There's more money leaving our hands as dealers. I mean, I don't know of anybody that spends more money than us. Do you? Crazy money. So I think we should spend $200-300 on a PDA and realize what that could help us. It's a little device, yay big. It's the size of your iPhone. You can put programs of NADA, Black Book, and Kelley Blue Book all in the same screen. You push a button, the cars come up, you scroll up and down, the make, the model, put the miles, gives you a value. Bingo. It's that quick, that easy. It's hot. Buyers must adhere to the inventory benchmark established above. I've said that 3 times. Why? Because buyers get what? Excited. They're excited. Buyer must understand all lenders' requirements. I don't want him to understand it as good as my best F&I director, but he needs to understand what it means. Now, the worst thing you can do is the first program you teach one of your buyers is that one 150% advance. Now, all he wants to do is what? Hey, man, you told me you can get 150. Or you just tell him, hey, I need to buy cars $2,000 behind book, but you never tell him about the miles restriction. So he goes and buys a couple of them over 70,000 miles. Boy, I got you a window, though. Well, I'm about to put a window in your face. That's what I'm about. And if you ask him, can you wholesale it, what's the answer to that, Gary? No. But I stole it. You were the last guy. But I know, but I stole it. But yet I can't wholesale it. How does that work? Okay. And by the way, if it stays for 2-3 weeks, what happened to that price? Dropping like a rock, right? Buyers must track the performance of their inventory purchases. You know, when I had a buyer, I asked them to really, I tried to do that. Of course, my 2 partners didn't let me, but I told them, let's not pay him on buying cars. Let's pay him on inventory turn. If he buys a car and we sell it, let's pay him. If we buy a car and we don't sell it, he doesn't get paid. That will get him emotionally involved, wouldn't it? Ooh, it's cold. It's getting chilly. Buyers must work to buy the only 20% of the inventory that sells the fastest turn or highest profit. Should he be involved in tracking what inventory sells or not? Should you be informing him? Should you get him emotionally involved with that? I think so. Page 167. Purchase date, sold date, turn 35, I paid this much, recon this much, sold it this much, I made that much. What year is it? What miles? Let's bring up a subject here right now, guys. I know all of you guys are horses and you're not scared. You get in a situation where the auction, for example, there was 2 lanes to go to the auction and you got through and then all of a sudden airplane hit and took the lanes out. Nobody can get to the auction. But the good news, the representative of the factory or the representative of that company got to the auction. And they decided to run the lane anyway because they have internet buyers. And then all of a sudden there's 60 caravans. at an incredibly low price. Should you buy them all? Amazing low price. Amazing, amazing. You should. Absolutely. Get them all. Now, when I say get them all, you better have a plan of what you're going to do with them. Don't say, I bought 60 Caravan. You know, you might want to wholesale some. You might want to, you know, spread it around there. Now, you go to the next week, and you just made $7,000, $8,000 on each of those cars. The next week, there's 60 more Caravans. Now they're about $2,000, $3,000 higher. But you just sold all the ones you have. Should you buy all of them again? Nope. Why? Because it never works that way. You get away with it once, you won't get away with it again. Another thing is, you know this book thing that the cars are not in the book for the 2008, they're not in the book? Do me a favor. Get really familiar with when is it going to hit the book. Don't go out and buy 30 and 40 of them and saying it's not going to hit the book, and you just bought it the last week of the month, and you just happen to grab the current month book versus next month, and next month book, here's the value staring at you. You're talking about a bloodbath. So be very aware of that. Helmi, that's a really great subject that we just talked about. But I'm an F&I director. What do you want me to do? Why am I listening to this on a Thursday afternoon? Who's going to track it, boys? Who's going to give feedback? Who's going to be involved? I'm a sales manager, man. I'm a glorified closer. What's going on? Why am I listening to this baloney? We're a team, aren't we? Are we or are we not? Is we or is we not? We is. Game on? Wouldn't you like all your people to be involved in this? Is there a ticker? Tick, tick, tick. Every one of your inventories? When you're desking deal on Promax, do you guys know that there is this one column that says days in stock? Are you familiar with that? Who's familiar with that column? You liar, you. She's laughing. Yes, I use that to avoid all the cars that are over 35 days old. You know, we come to a point where I, like, for example, tell you, I had to find a way to get my managers involved because they're retail, not what? Not detail. So I came up with this program, and I think everybody will agree with me, I hope. Maybe I'll get shot before I finish my sentence, but none of my managers got a single bonus unless there wasn't a single car over 60 days old. 60, started with new. Started with new. Started with used because new was never a problem. I mean, I understand, but at one point or another, I respect what you're saying, but you know why he's saying neither was used? Because it got sold. Because those bonuses were what? Considerable. Period. They're bumming. So what we did, we took all the bonuses that they were making. Of course, I didn't want any of them. I was already rich. Right? And I told them that. And what I did is I took all those bonuses and did what? Throw them against those 60-day-old units and wrote them down. They got sold, buddy. Go ahead, Daryl.
What step in the process eliminated what he just talked about?
Touch base with the desk. Vehicle selection.
And when that salesperson touches base with the desk and shares a story, we do the interview, and we do the setup. When we come back to the desk, is it like, let's go put them on a Focus? Or is it, let's go put them on a Forenza? Or let's go, based on all the information we have here, it looks like that a Cavalier would work best. It's a stock number because it's already at the desk. You know how you control your inventory with the your used car inventory for your turn? We give them the stock number for the oldest one. But if you skip that step in the process, what's going to happen? The salesperson is going to go out and sell which one? It could be the same
The
color.
newest, freshest, most exciting, brand new thing that just hit the lot.
And
you
what if
say,
there's-
Helmy, well, all of them are new. It's 13 days.
Yeah, what if they're all the same?
Oh, yeah. And another thing is, when you're desking that deal, and let's say you desk it, and one of them is a $2,900 profit, and then the other one is $2,600, but the one is $2,900 is 1 day old, and the other one is 30 days old. Which one should you sell? If you care, which one would you sell? All right, so I decided to make sure everybody cares.
There was an unwind.
You had to go there, huh? You know, you talk about winding me up, you know? Let's say we have an unwind. For some reason, they believe that they should be beached whales. You unwind a deal, it's a beach whale. Look at that thing. What is that? Oh, that's an unwind from last week. What do you mean? Look at it. Well, we're still working on the deal. Well, show me the deal. Of course, it says dead in the file. It's done. Check got cut back to the customer. We're done. Well, what are we doing? They might come back and get it. I said, okay. So what we do now, right? What we do is when an unwind comes, whoever unwinds it, it's his baby. He has to make sure that that key is pegged, and the car goes back to the service department, make sure that it's good, because it's unbelievable. 1 week, the car was perfect. A week later, it's like pigs living in it, you know? As a matter of fact, you open the door, little piglets come out. Come out. So now they're going to have to take it to the service department, check it, go to the detail department, steam clean it, put the stuff on it, and put it up. Why? Because if we sold that car, and that car was 30 days old, and now it's been with that customer at least for 10 days, right? That's what an unwind does. And then it's sat down there for another week. How many days we have? 47 days. Service department, da-da-da-da-da. How many days? Okay. And if one of the unwinds, let's say it's the last day of the month, and the unwind coming from the original purchase date, it was already that, and now it's over 61 days. What are they going to do? Shoot themselves? Oh, yeah. That deal is going to get kept, isn't it? You know, I'm here to look at the XL7. Are you kidding? Wow, that's awesome. Let me show you this Focus that we just got. Every single human being in that dealership gets to look at that car. They have walk-around contest in the morning on those cars. Because they know, I say what I do, and I do what I say. When I tell them you're going to get a $10,000 bonus, they're going to get it. But when I tell them you're not going to get your bonus, nobody's going to make me pay them their bonus. And it really hurts my feelings, really, really. I mean, you guys are going to, yeah, right, it does, Helen. No, I genuinely do hurt when I see my manager suffering. And most of the time when I take their bonus, not since, you know, anyway, most of the time when I take their bonus away, we put it towards the car, but I really always give them an opportunity to get it back somewhere the first 10 days of the month. Do you remember that, Bill? Just to give them an opportunity to move fast, right? Right, Daryl? Because I don't want to keep them down. I might have took their feet from right under them, but I'm holding them what? By the hair. By the hair. In your case, you're bumming. Anyway, I'm holding him by his hair. Anyway, go ahead. Go ahead, buddy. Well, somebody had a question up here, I think. Sir?
I did, but I got an answer.
What was it?
Those bonuses, are those paid to salespeople as well to move that over?
Oh, yeah, everybody doesn't get their bonus. Salespeople, managers, it's equal opportunity abuse. It's obligated for the inventory to have no vehicles over 59 days. Just give you a little hint. Sometimes while we're closing the month, if they decide to sneak one in, I decide to look the other way, you know? Like I didn't see it.